So scientifically, I'm gonna break down real quick. It's very simple. How racism can be proved to not be real through an evolutionary perspective, and scientifically, you can also express the origination of things being in Africa. Okay, and the reason why is because they have the oldest genetic variants. We all know that dark skin means melanin, correct? Yeah, you know that. Well, melanin, vitamin D, is created through photosynthesis by your skin, and melanin acts as the filter because vitamin D is something that your body can overproduce and poison you. So, darker skin versus lighter skin. Photosynthesis, melanin, more of it, the darker you are. So, why are there whiter people? Why are there so many? Well, that's because through photosynthesis, the people who stayed around, what we call the water people, who stayed around the nice temperature around the equator, the Ecuadorian people, the original Ecuadorian people, stay around the equator. So that is very sustainable for human beings. So as things spread out and things like meat is not good there. You can't, meat caused diseases in those areas because they didn't have ability to preserve it at this time. But as humans started spreading outwards, because several times over there have been ice ages. There's been freezings, and they lasted for about 1,000,000 years at a time. So as as human civilization continues to restart, it seems to be around there that doesn't get affected as much or a lot of the time. But it has. Anyways, as you spread out, you must clothe, and your exposure to the sun is a lot less frequent. So your vitamin D is through very small orifices in your clothing or through certain animals, like through fat of a whale, blubber, and stuff like that. Like, not very many ways you can get it outside of photosynthesis. But so you're like, yeah, how does it get lighter exactly? Well, so too much exposure to the light causes your skin to get dark, correct? You get tan. Well, that is because your body regulates vitamin D, so it uses the skin to filtrate it. Well, if you're not getting enough vitamin D, then your skin gets lighter, less melatonin, less filtration system, so it can get straight to the source and start creating vitamin D. Now, may offend some people. You know, that idea of white people, black people, intelligence, and blah, blah, blah. Well, this is how it may be misconstrued. And that's impossible to use anymore because we are all connected. But back in the day, I would think, through paleontology, archaeology, you can find this system to be pretty true. So, survival ability and adapting required cleverness, okay? Because water in the surroundings was very close to skin temperature, infrareds. So that's ideal for your most natural environment. To surround, like being in the natural surroundings, not protected at all moments like we are today. So, survivability and movability and clever ability became a resource. Making tools, clothing was very, 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 very necessary. So, I think that's what it shows. In classism, through more clever survivability is what it was at the time. Like you were more able to follow the ice cap, um, the edge of the ice cap where animals, because animals follow the ice, and like meat eating, you know, civilizations follow the ice cap. Not animals, but animals feeding on meat, like that being your option. You know, you can preserve in the ice. So, but you had to be very, very clever, and the classism was better food, better nutrients. It was like by chance that you got, because other things were better for you than others, and certain by chance coming across, you know, the right tributary or something. You know, there's many different things, but it was by chance. It wasn't because of it's real. Now there is ways to manipulate, like having better offspring than the other. We know what evolution is, survivability. So classism was created that way, but it's not real. Just like racism isn't real. It was created and exploited. That's all what it is. Because unfortunately, like if we're saying that Africa's the beginning of civilization, right? Well, we must express the fact, the evolutionary fact that dark skin expresses exposure to radiation through photosynthesis for vitamin D of the human. And before you can get dark, you got to be light. Now, if there are restarts and someone is dark, then that is the original. But first exposed, you must recognize how light an African baby even is out of the womb. So, nature and genetic variance both have a factor. Now, even before there's white, you must get how a human became a human through evolution from animal to human, then from animal to, you know, bacteria and blah, blah, blah. So, fake news, motherfuckers. Prove me wrong. Please. I can almost explain consciousness. I won't say I got it, but I almost got it. And, you know, how to correlate, you know, like how to understand about what's next in life, or to think, or I've got better ways of at least being closer to a correlation than what most people use, okay? So I've thought about many essences, but yeah, racism, it's not real, but unfortunately it's real in the sense, I use this metaphor and I'll close with another metaphor. Imagine you're driving down the interstate, right? You're doing about 70, 75, cruising, listening to the Rolling Stones. Little do you know, there's cars out there, right? Well, there's a woman in one of those cars, and you don't know you're about to ride past her, but she had been having some paranoia episodes or hallucination episodes where she thinks, like, she keeps seeing deer run across the road. So guess what? The moment you're riding by her, she swerves into your lane and hits you. That crash you're in is real. But that deer she thought she saw was never real. I know this metaphor is a bit of a farce, but without you being able to shred it apart other than that, it keeps you from personalizing it. And we all know that people hallucinate, so that's possible. We all do know people that drive, that's possible. We all do know people that go through episodes while driving. So logic tells you it's possible. So don't try to destroy it. But that's how something out of somebody's imagination or something that's not real becomes real. That's what I call out of the vortex. It's like an invention. It's an idea. It is some random places that you got this shit from. You don't even know where it quite came from, because it came from thousands of places. And it comes out of your mouth, an utterance. So anyways, there's another one, part 3.